Midfield. Give me a midfield for England. Who do you think he's going to pick in this first game? It's not an easy game, by the way, Croatia.
I just think he's going to play 5. So I think 5 at the back. So in the middle, I think he's going to go with, if fit, Phillips and Rice. I think he's going to go with like 2 sitters and Mason Mount as a 3, attacking wise, with Kane, and then could be anyone.
So you don't think Jack can start? Jack Grealish?
I hope he does. But I just think maybe the way he's probably going to line up the first game, maybe a bit cautious.
Do you need 2 holding midfielders
when you're playing
3 at the back?
I wouldn't play 2 holding midfielders, but I think he will.
I don't think you can play. You can't play 2 holding midfielders when you're playing 3 at the back. Surely.
So you've not mentioned Foden either.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's out of Jack, Foden, Sancho,
Sancho comes
Sterling,
in, does he?
Sterling, Rashford. It's out of one of them for one position. I think he will play 2 sitters. I think he could play Mason Mount next to Declan Rice in the midfield, but I just think he's very cautious, isn't he?
Ray, you thinking?
I just think we've got too many good attacking players. That's why.
But would he be thinking a draw will do us against Croatia because we'll beat Scotland?
Well, you can't think like that, Al. That is it's like. It's like a derby, isn't it? England, Scotland, and anything can happen. We always say it, an old cliche. The form goes out the window with derby games. Anything can happen. So I wouldn't say put your eggs in one. Well, we're going to beat Scotland.
The way Scotland played the other night as well, like they're looking like a decent team. There won't be an easy game for England.
I think you've got to start on the front foot. I really do. You don't want to start negatively and saying, "Oh, look, if we get a draw, we're happy." You've got to go right. Okay, we got fantastic players. We've got Foden, who's had a great season. I
know what I'd do.
Sancho. We've got Grealish, who can make things happen. Mount, who's had a great season. I'd play 4 at the back.
I'd play Rice.
And Mount.
I'd play Foden. I'd play Mount. And I'd play Jack.
Yeah. Well, that's what my opening team would be. Walker. If everybody, Maguire don't look, obviously ain't going to make it. So you play 2 centre-halves, whether it's going to be John Stones and whoever. Then you play 𝗕𝗿𝗇, probably left back, or Luke Shaw. Yeah, there's good options there. I would play Mount and Rice in midfield, and then you'd have Foden off the right. You play Jack Grealish as number 10. You can play him, but he's got the intelligence. If Mount runs past him and wants to get in the box like he can, he's a very energetic player. Grealish should just sit him back into midfield.
And Grealish could easily link up. He could link up with Harry,
no problem. And then off the left-hand side, you've got loads of options. You've got Sancho. You can play.
You might look for some pace, maybe in one position, wouldn't you?
You could look Rashford off the left if you want, or Sterling,
yep.
And then obviously Harry Kane up front. But I think you've got to start on the front foot, surely.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mentioned there about Maguire and Henderson might not play a part. Gab, just expand a little bit. You said earlier that you thought he was being selfish. What did you really mean by that?
So what I thought is that if the last game against Austria, if he's saying to Gareth Southgate, I'm not fit, I can still feel this. They've sent him off for scans and it's come back that the scans are fine, but he's still feeling like he's not ready. Ray will tell you he's played centre midfield, his career. You can't be just turning up to a tournament with a couple of days training and be like, all right then, I'm ready for the Croatia game, or I'm ready for the Scotland game. Yeah, just put me in there. Not play it into February, not play the game. You can't. Centre midfield's a position where you need to be at it.
Should Gareth not make that decision though?
But is he a big enough man to make that decision? We've seen with Ramos, Luis Enrique's like, you're out.
Yeah.
You've not played in much in the last 3-4 months. You've got a few injuries. You're not in the squad, and that's a legend of the Spanish team. So I just think that Ward-Prowse is there. Trent Arnold's got injured. Ward-Prowse is a specialist for free kicks. Get him in. Get Lingard in. Trent's obviously got out, and I'd say to Henderson, you know what, you're not going to be ready for the group games. And everyone's saying, yeah, but the latter stages. But what if we don't get there? You're saving players for the latter stages, but we're not guaranteed to get there.
I think that surely Gareth is getting a lot of advice off the physios to say, well, yeah, no, he should be okay. Because if he's not going to be okay, then yeah, you're right. But there must be something there that's to say he will be fit sooner or later, and it might be quarterfinals he's fit and ready to go. I don't know, but
what if then the team's flying? What if they've won every game?
Well, he doesn't play.
He doesn't. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't play anywhere.
He's still there though, and he might be a big influence around the dressing room. You've got to look at that as well. It's a tournament situation. You're in a hotel all together. And he might be a big figurehead there. I mean, he was a spokesman, wasn't he, for the pandemic, for the captains.
I think Maguire's going to be a bigger miss, Ray, if he's not fit, because Mings was very lucky the other night, wasn't he? He should have been off.
No VAR.
What was he doing there?
He probably knew there was no VAR. The referee wasn't watching. Got away with it. He did get away with one. But I agree, Maguire, he's a bigger loss. So I think I could understand the Maguire one, definitely. If he's
Here's one for you, Gab. If you could only play one, who plays, Grealish or Foden?
Don't be biased. Don't be biased.
I think Foden's outstanding, but I'll pick Jack because before his injury, especially the season he's had, you know, he was winning games by himself for Aston Villa, you know, taking the ball, running it, so many players. Obviously, he's been injured, and that's been the
So
period.
Jack would get in that City side ahead of Foden.
Listen to you. You're something else.
You should have stayed in bed.
I'm not sure he would, but he'd be a great addition to play for them to play together.
It's great that they're both English. I mean, you don't really get two quality
got to
players
play
like that.
them both, I think.
I'd play Foden. Foden's got to be in front just about at the moment. But Grealish is a special talent. He really is. And
but why wouldn't you play both?
I will play both, definitely.
And Mason Mount's got to play
and
as
you can
well.
play,
and Rice sitting. You just need one sitter, surely.
Yeah, but if you do have two sitters, you can play Mount as a number 10 and you can play Grealish off the left, which he's done for Villa.
I think everyone's talking about, okay, Maguire's injured, you know, we've got to play 3 centre-halves but we still got a good centre-half. John Stones is a good centre-half. Tyrone Mings has showed this season, the amount of clean sheets Aston Villa have got, he's been a good centre-half this season. Carl Walker at right back to help cover with his pace.
Would you think it'd be Mings and if they play 4 at the back, Mings and Stones?
I think if Maguire's injured, I think he'll play Mings and Stones because he's got the pace, hasn't he, Mings as well?
What about one last one, Gab, before we break? Just 2 centre forwards. Should he bring another forward in?
I know I'm biased, but Watkins for me, he had something different. You know, if you need to see out a game in the last 20 minutes, who do you want on that pitch? A pest like Ollie Watkins. Chasing down defenders, running to the channels.
A little bit like a Jamie
goals.
Vardy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy was that sort of player. If you can bring him off the bench for the last half hour, they're just tiring a little bit the defence, viewing it, and he starts running in behind. Yeah, so that...
It makes you think, doesn't it? Four right-backs and then 2 centre-forwards.
I thought it was out of Greenwood and Watkins. And obviously when Greenwood said he's not fit, I thought it was a certainty, Watkins, to get in the team.
Make sense.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
But did you think that's something about a defensive manager because he's a defender?
Yeah, when he
What if Harry gets injured first game?
Well, it'd be all on Calvert-Lewin, wouldn't it? He'd be the one who plays.
No,
I think Calvert-Lewin would be in front of Rashford up front, I should imagine, at this present time. But it's going to be down to Calvert-Lewin, I should imagine.
Breakfast with 𝗕𝗄𝗄𝗆, Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.